Let's get some more expert analysis. Political analyst Eric Ham joins us live here in Washington, D.C. Great to see you. We're election eve now. Are the polls right, Eric?
It's not sure. Right now, what we know, at least from the early voting, 45 million people have voted, and right now it looks as though Democrats have a 4 million vote lead. The question, of course, is can Republicans overtake that lead in the same-day voting tomorrow? And, of course, we just don't know what that's going to look like. Many believe that young voters are probably going to show up in droves tomorrow. If that happens, it could mean it's going to be a long night for Republicans.
Yeah, well, that's really interesting because that's what I found in Texas. A lot of young people were really, a lot of them were Republicans and weren't that happy with the Democrats. They believe in the need to vote, and they think it's a really important right, and just wanted to encourage everyone to get out and vote. But so what are we thinking? So the polls, the turnout, all the indications, you've been around, you've seen some midterms, you've seen some elections. How does this all pan out tomorrow?
I think we're going to see a combination of a lot of different things taking place. Historically, typically, the party in power loses seats. I think we're going to see some of that happen, but at the same time, I think it's going to be very difficult for Republicans to take control of the upper chamber, the Senate. So Democrats may keep that. And I think what we could see is possibly a split where we see a 50-50 split with the vice president actually being the tie-breaking vote for the Senate. So that could...
And that's what it is at the moment,
Exactly,
right?
yeah. So I think the Senate could remain unchanged, even though we may see some people lose, some people win. I do believe Georgia is going to go to a runoff. I do also believe that the House, I think, Republicans are going to pick up seats. The question is going to be how big is their majority in the House going to be? Is it going to be a 30, 40 seat pickup, or will it be something smaller, say between 8 to 10 seats? That's what we just don't know.
Is that a possibility? Because they only need 5, right?
They only need 5, but typically when you're looking at a wave, whether it's a blue wave or a red wave, you tend to see a 30, 40 swing. Right now, it just doesn't look as though it's going to be that big. That's what makes this election so hard to call, because normally, in fact, earlier this year, we were expecting that this was going to be a red wave. Now it doesn't look like it. It looks like it might be a red drip, where Democrats may lose some seats, but not enough to where Republicans will have an overwhelming
majority, though, right? Especially in the House.
Well, when you're talking about these Republicans, it's not so sure. We already know that right now Republicans want to do some things. House Republicans, they are saying they want to do some things. Senate Republicans aren't in agreement with that. So we could see a lot of division if, in fact, Republicans take control of one or both chambers.
Okay, let's talk about the national messaging, because I feel like the Republicans have cut through in areas where they needed to. The Democrats haven't been talking all about the economy until the last couple of days.
That's right.
That could be a mistake, right?
Oh, absolutely. It certainly can. We know that the economy is front and center for most Americans. Gas prices are high. Food prices are high. People are very concerned about what it all means. And so Republicans have been really hammering that message. What we've seen is Democrats have been focused on abortion. Republicans have been focused on the economy. The question is, which issue is going to win out? Which issue will resonate with the voters?
On abortion rights, do you think that was a mistake to focus on that from the Democrats' point of view? Of course, a huge issue for so many women, millions of women. But did they use that, did they play one card?
Well, at the time, just before that decision came down, we were seeing what looked like was going to be a red wave election year.
Yeah.
After the Supreme Court made that ruling, it seemed as though Democrats picked up steam, and they continued to do so until the end of the summer. Of course, at that point, now the polls have tightened, and it looks as though Republicans have found their footing, and it seems like they're heading into the final days of this election with momentum. But I think right now it's tight, and right now this is looking more and more like a toss-up. You've got polls showing that there's interest really high on both sides.
Yeah, right.
But of course, it's all about what we see in the voting. And right now, early voting shows that Democrats have a 4 million vote lead. The question is, can Republicans wipe that out?
Yeah, and exactly. Can the Democrats retain that? Riddle me this, because I've seen a lot of reporting and a lot of polling suggesting that the Democrats in the last week or so have lost the white woman vote, and Republicans have actually done much better on evidence we have so far in Latino areas, in the Latino vote. Is that right? And if that is correct, what does it mean?
The suburban women vote, that's always a crucial and key vote. And typically whoever wins that vote typically will win the race. Also, in states like Nevada, that Latino vote is going to be very crucial. That's a very tough race right now. And I think the Democrat in the Senate Nevada race is going to win the Latino vote. But the question is, can you stay above 65%? And I think that's what Democrats are hoping, and that's what they need right now. They need to maintain a high majority of the Latino vote. Of course, they're going to lose some. And then the question is, if in fact they do lose the suburban white women vote, how much do they lose that by? And because right now what we're seeing is Democrats are trying to cobble together a victory of different demographics.
Yeah.
And right now it's very difficult to see, in fact, if they can actually put enough together to actually get in the win column. Because, again, what we're seeing is Republicans are not only energized, but people are deeply concerned about what's happening.
It's interesting because we're about to speak to a Democrat chair in the D.C. area, but this issue, again, came up as I was travelling through Texas. Even if someone was a Democrat voter, they felt like the party had gone too far to the left under Joe Biden, talking about what's commonly referred to as woke issues. What do you think about that?
Well, if you look at states like Wisconsin, again, another battleground state, Joe Biden won that state in 2020. Yeah. But then you see Mandela Barnes, the lieutenant governor who's running for Senate, a Democrat. He's running against Republican Ron Johnson. And many believe that he, in fact, did move too far to the left. And while Ron Johnson is not seen as a very popular figure in the state, because of the fact that the Democrat ran too far to the left, that could be just enough to actually secure that Ron Johnson, the Republican, gets a third term in the U.S. Senate.
Okay, it looks like just finally Trump is going to run in 2 years. Do you think he can get up again?
I think it was all. I don't think it was ever a question that Donald Trump was going to run again. The question, of course, is can he actually repeat what he did in the primary, the Republican primary?
What do you think,
if in
Eric?
fact,
Can he?
I think he can. I think he
Why?
can. I think he can because I think there is no Republican that will run who can be as witty, who can be as bombastic, and who can be as tough as Donald Trump. Remember, the Republican Party is still Donald Trump's. He still has more popularity than anyone in the party. And I think even people such as Florida Governor Ron DeSantis, who many people are looking at, I think he still will win in a landslide.
Ron DeSanctimonious now. It's not one of his best, but it's still pretty good, right?
No, but it sends a signal that he's ready to not only to run, but he's ready to actually go to the gutter with Ron DeSantis. The question is Ron DeSantis prepared to go there as well?
That's going to be fascinating. Hope to be back in Florida in about 2 years' time. Eric,
good luck with that.
Great to see you. Thanks so much for your insights. Appreciate it.